Number 31. Solve the trinomial equation. R squared minus 18R plus 56 equals 0. Okay, we need to factor the trinomial, so we need two numbers that multiply together to equal 56, and they have to add together to equal negative 18. So my two numbers I'm going to work with are negative 4 and negative 14. Okay, so I'm going to leave the r squared alone. The minus 18r, I'm going to write it as minus 4r minus 14r plus 56 equals 0. Now I'm going to group the first two terms together, and I'll group the last two terms together. Now I can take out the greatest common factor from this first set of parentheses. I'm going to take an r out, so that leaves inside r squared divided by r minus 4r divided by r. With the next set of parentheses, I'm going to take out a negative 14. That leaves negative 14r divided by negative 14 plus 56 divided by negative 14 equals 0. Okay, now I'm going to simplify what's inside the parentheses. So it will be r times r squared divided by r is r, minus 4r divided by r is 4, plus negative 14 times negative 14r divided by negative 14 is r, plus 56 divided by negative 14 is negative 4, equals 0. Okay, so now I'm going to put the r and the negative 14 together. So that becomes r plus negative 14, which is the same as r minus 14. Then we need to take one of our other terms, so r minus 4 equals 0. Now we're going to use the 0 property. Okay, the 0 property says if two things are multiplied together to equal 0, then one of them has to equal 0. So we're going to take and set each of these equal to 0. So we have two little equations to solve. So r minus 14 plus 14 equals 0 plus 14. R equals 14. And the other one, r minus 4 plus 4 equals 0 plus 4. So r equals 4. So our two answers are 4 and 14. Question 32. Solve the equation 12x squared minus 14x plus 4. The first thing I see is that 2 goes into all the coefficients. So I'm going to divide out 2 from each coefficient. So 12 divided by 2 is 6x squared. 14x divided by 2 is minus 7x. Plus 4 divided by 2 is plus 2. Equals 0 divided by 2 is 0. Okay, so now I'm ready to factor. We want to find two numbers that when you multiply them together, they equal 6 times 2, which is 12. And when you add them together, they equal negative 7. So the two numbers are negative 4, negative 3. So I'm going to write the middle term, the negative 7x, as minus 4x minus 3x. Now I'm going to group the first two terms together, plus, and group the second two terms together. the greatest common factor between 6x squared and 4x is going to be 2x. Then I'll divide everything on the inside by 2x. Between negative 3x and 2, I can only take out a 1. But since this first term is negative, I'm going to take out a negative 1. So then I need to divide by negative 1. So now I'm ready to simplify. 6x squared divided by 2x is 3x. 4x divided by 2x is minus 2. Plus negative 1. Negative 3x divided by negative 1 is positive 3x. Positive 2 divided by negative 1 is minus 2. Equals 0. Now I'll group together the 2x and the negative 1. So 2x plus negative 1, which is the same as minus 1, times 3x minus 2 equals 0. Now I'll use the 0 property. So I'll set each term separately equal to 0. And now I'll solve each one separately. So 2x minus 1 plus 1 equals 0 plus 1. 2x equals 1. Then divide both sides by 2. And I get x equals 1/2. From the other equation, I have 3x minus 2 plus 2 equals 0 plus 2. 3x equals 2. Divide both sides by 3, and I get x equals 2/3. So our answers are 1/2 and 2/3. Question 33. Solve the equation h squared plus 28h minus 3 equals 0 by using the quadratic formula. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. Okay, for the quadratic formula, remember a equals the coefficient of the squared term. So the coefficient is 1. B equals the coefficient of the middle term, so it's positive 28. And C equals the constant, which is the number that doesn't have a variable. So C is negative 3. Now we're going to plug A, B, and C into the quadratic formula. The first term is negative b, so that means change the sign of b. So we have negative 28 plus or minus the square root of 28 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 3. And that's all divided by 2 times a. So negative 28 plus or minus, and now all of this that's underneath the radical sign, I'm going to punch that in my calculator and find out that it's 796. Divided by 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, when you punch square root of 796 into your calculator, you'll see that it's about 28.2. So now we're going to have negative 28 plus 28.2 divided by 2. That's going to be one of our answers. And negative 28 minus, oops, that should say 20. Negative 28 minus 28.2 divided by 2 will be our other answer. Negative 28 plus 28.2 is 0.2 divided by 2, and that equals 0.1. Negative 28 minus 28.2 is negative 56.2 divided by 2, and that equals negative 28.1. So these are our two answers, 0.1 and negative 28.1. Question 34. Simplify the expression square root of 13 times square root of 17. So that's going to equal the square root of 13 times 17. 13 times 17 is 221. So it equals the square root of 221. Question 35. Simplify the expression 15 over the square root of 7. Okay, we're going to do something called rationalizing the denominator. The denominator is square root of 7, so I'm going to multiply 15 over the square root of 7 times square root of 7 over the square root of 7. That equals 15 square root of 7. Square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is just 7. And that is your answer.